Hey, I'm Jason from Worship Artistry.
What's up? I'm Nick.
From Worship Artistry.
From Worship at Worship Artistry, for Worship Artistry.
Yes. Now that you've been with Worship Artistry, do you ever wish that artistry was an easier word to say? Because we've been saying it more and more on this YouTube channel, and it's getting harder and harder.
I've not once found it hard to say, I'm going to be honest.
I feel like I sound like I'm drunk half the time.
What do you say, like artistry?
I'm like, artistry.
Yeah, artistry.
Yeah.
All three of you with artistry.
And let me show you guys.
No, but one thing, since I've been here a little bit, one thing I found out about you is you'll be like, hey, we're gonna meet at the studio at like 9. And then it'll be like, well, actually maybe 10. I'm not a very good guitar player. Because I get like, what were you doing? What is happening here?
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's turn that off. It's like so loud.
I'm used to my volume pedal down here, and I just kind of.
I get it. I'm sorry I didn't bring that.
Well, now I'm gonna have to. Now we're gonna definitely have to do a cut.
I know.
Because I'm going to start playing, and it's not gonna be there because I'm gonna forget about it.
But anyway, we digress.
A little bit.
He said, meet at 9 or whatever. Then all of a sudden I got a text that, oh, hold on, I'm not very good at guitar. Meet at 10 or whatever. And then he's like, oh, I better make it 11. Yeah, I better make it 11:45 just in case.
Just give it space. And I almost got done. No, I was working on the Worship Artistry tutorial.
Okay.
For another one, which is by Elevation Worship.
Yeah.
And another one is not only a very great name for the song, because they say it a lot in the song,
sure.
but it's also a great description of how my video shooting for the tutorial went. There's a lot of, another one. And it was something so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, people always think songs are so easy.
Mm-hmm.
They're always like, oh yeah, worship songs are a piece of cake.
Right.
But I was having this problem where I needed to open up my D string and I needed to hold down the second fret of the A, and I just kept flubbing that note over and over and over again. And then all of a sudden it just clicked and I was like, all right, I do remember how to play guitar. I just forgot for like a good hour there.
Yeah, it happens, man. I just sometimes forget where I'm at. So
yeah,
it might be a bigger problem for me. I don't know.
You should maybe see a doctor.
Yes. Today, we're just going to showcase a few things. What are we showing them?
Yeah, so we're talking a little bit about making some things that are easy concepts, actually making them sound easy and understandable.
So, like you're saying, the guitar isn't as hard as we make it out to be sometimes?
I think so.
Because I'm overwhelmed.
GG, you have, there are some things that a lot of times that you'll say like, oh, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you not understand that? That's the simplest concept. Why do you think you find these things hard to understand?
Well, I think so. Here, story time with Nick. When I first got started playing guitar, actually, there was a guy, I'm self-taught. I've taken one lesson in my life. And there was an older gentleman. He told me like, hey, you're going to learn the guitar wrong and you're going to learn it how to play poorly. You need to take lessons from my son and all this other stuff. And I was just like, oh, so by me teaching myself something, I'm going to instantly just be wrong. And so that was the first thing I heard. And then the next thing I heard was, it's so hard to figure this out. You're not going to be able to do that. So for the longest time, I'm not kidding, I just really believed like all of these things that I could do weren't cool, or like were just like, oh, that's just, I can do that. Like anybody can do that if I can do it, because
or you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
I shouldn't
wrong.
be doing that.
Yeah, I can't do that because I'm wrong. And even at the first lesson I had, the guitar guy, he was like, well, you just do it this way. I was like, well, I can't do that. He goes, well, then try it this way. I go, but that's cheating. That's wrong. And so it's like how many years, 15 years later, I'm still like, no, you can't. Right. But like, I found out that like, actually a lot of the stuff on the guitar is a lot easier than we make it out to be, because like, I was like, this is too easy. Of course, I'm not good at the guitar because it has to be harder.
Right.
There's so many like more, I got to unlock the whole fretboard. I got to know the cage system. I got to know these triads. I got to know. Sure, all of those things are good to know and understand, but it is a little easier than I think a lot of people make it out to be.
Right. Well, a lot of times I think it comes down to language.
Sure.
Because we're using words that, we use theory words, or we talk about mode. People get really nervous about modes. Like, I don't understand modes. Somebody explain modes to me. And modes are very understandable.
Right.
If somebody just explains how we're going to explain it today. Similar to, what I hear a lot of times with worship guitarists, I need to learn triads. I got to learn triads.
Right.
Triads are an incredibly simple concept.
Right.
Inversions create a little bit more with that, but it's also very easy to understand if you step back. But I think for me, I took piano for 6 years before I ever
Oh, really?
picked up a guitar because my parents believed like I wanted to learn drums. Like, that's cool, learn piano. I'm like, okay, I want to learn guitar. Like, that's cool, learn piano. Guys, just let your kids learn whatever they want to learn. They're going to be much more into it.
But piano's the answer.
Yeah, piano. Well, and honestly, though, I feel like in a lot of ways, my piano teachers kind of ruined me from the standpoint of that feeling of there is a right way to do this, and you need to learn so many things before you ever play anything that sounds good.
Sure.
Right? You got to understand all your scales and all these exercises. Nobody just taught me like, these are the 7 chords that are in this key.
Right.
And you can just move those around.
Yeah.
I had to take years of guitar and then go, wait a minute. I think what they're saying is this.
Yeah.
And so what we're hoping to do in this video is just unlock a few of those ideas. Because if you look at triads, if you look at modes, if you're like, what's an inversion? And it seems like it's this really complicated thing, it's not. Now you can vary.
Sure.
Right? There are infinite variations. I mean, some mathematician's going to write us and be like, actually, technically, there are not infinite variations, but based on the amount of notes in the scale.
Please tell us that.
I mean, if you think about it, in a scale, there's essentially 7 notes.
Right.
And we act like there's so many more. But it's just kind of repeating things. And once again, you can play jazz and get out and everything. But this is just for like, hey, I'm trying to understand these concepts.
Right.
What are they? Right? So should we dive into some triads?
Let's do it. Teach me, because I think I understand what a triad is, but like, I don't know.
Right. So
I'll try it. Yes.
Right, yes, let's try it.
We'll try the triad.
Try the triad.
Yeah.
What does tri actually mean?
Oh, like
if you've seen a word like a triangle.
Oh, three.
Right, tricycle.
Got it.
Right. Tri means 3.
Gotcha.
Right? And so a lot of times guitarists think, okay, that's like any 3 notes. But a triad is simply the first note of a scale, the third note of the scale, and the 5th of a major scale.
Always.
Every
single triad.
Actually, sorry, I should digress. There are major triads, there's minor triads.
Okay.
You can get into other things, but ultimately, when somebody just says a triad, usually what they're talking about is a major triad.
Okay.
And we'll talk about minor and that sort of thing.
So we're specifically talking about major triads right now.
Right now, yes.
So it's a 1, 3, and a 5.
Right, 1, 3, and 5 of the scale. So for example, if you think about, we'll go with C.
Okay.
Because of our piano players as well. That's all the white keys, which, once again, when I was playing piano, nobody ever taught me the white keys and the black keys are basically the same.
Right, yeah.
They just look different. I thought it was magic.
Different, yep.
Why do we have to throw that one in? Anyway, so if you think about a major scale, right, you just have your first note. That's some pretty good stuff there, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that's your C major scale.
Impressed.
So if you think about your C major scale as just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then repeating, so you get 8, keeps going. But essentially a major triad just takes the first note, then the third note, then the 5th note.
So like when somebody's referring to the 1, 3, and the 5, what is that Nashville numbering? Is that what that's called? Or is this different?
Okay, this is something that I think is always funny.
Yeah.
People talk about the numbering system. Okay, so, Nashville numbers, you got to learn numbers.
Sure.
But a lot of us just learn chord names.
Right.
That fit into Nashville numbers. Once again,
yes.
Different language, same exact thing.
Same thing. Yep.
So when we talk about Nashville numbers, what we're talking about are positions in the scale.
Right.
So we're talking about, if we take these notes, I look at these and I can go, that's a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. A Nashville number system person will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. But that's the only difference. It's the same, but it's an easier way I found to say the triad 1, 3, 5 versus like, oh shoot, that's a GAD or something. Like, I don't know.
But if you started learning one way, it's like, wait, you're breaking my brain.
Correct. Yeah.
And I can do it. I know all my chords and I can jump around and make those adjustments, and I can talk that way.
Right.
But I still, in my brain, I'm still like translating. I'm like, well, the 1, that's an A.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to do that. Yeah, when people are like, all right, we're going to go to the 5. And I'm like, again, I have to go back to my major scale that's like always on these low notes.
Right.
I'm like, that's an E. All right.
Right. Got it. Exactly. Right.
But
so
yeah,
it's the same thing. Once again, just using different words.
Correct.
And so you can kind of listen to that and go like, okay, we'll go to the 3. It's like, okay, well, I know that's a number in the scale. If I think in letters, C, C, D, E, that's an E, right?
Yep.
So a triad is just taking the 1, 3, and 5. When we say triads, usually what we're saying is we're playing those 3 together.
Yeah. Okay.
We're making a chord.
So what, again, are those notes? Because those are even different from...
I'm playing them different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm only just trying to do that, so I'll show you.
Well, now you're blowing my mind.
Same thing.
Why does that sound more country down there?
Oh, that's that little open.
Oh, yeah, same thing. What? How would I do that?
So you would go. Yep.
Yeah.
Now, you can add that in the leads, but usually what people are referencing are chords.
Sure. Yep.
Right? And a lot of times when it comes to worship guitar, what people really mean are high triads, like higher up on the scale, because what is happening is you have these players who are coming in playing power chords.
Right. Yeah.
And the worship leader's like, oh, you need to find your spot in the mix, right?
Yep.
And so instead of playing big open chords or power chords, they play up high. So taking that same idea,
Okay.
the 1, 3, 5,
1, 3, 5.
C, E, right? C, E, G, 1, 3, 5, same thing,
Yeah.
right? Well, we'll just move it up now. So if we think about, let's see, in this case, it would be. So now that's the octave.
So what are those?
Up on the 3rd fret there.
Huh,
Right?
Same as this.
Yep.
Huh. And
And then we can get real wild. We want to go up higher. Where would the next spot be?
show me Yoda.
Focus, Jason.
My hands can't do that, probably.
It's okay.
That sounds very like a child's lullaby.
It's angelic. Well, here, we'll make it sound more
put
worshipy.
Yeah. Oh. I've been taken to the throne room.
Yep, right there. You gave me a spring reverb, not a
I'm
big,
sorry, man.
big balloon.
We're gonna show
reverb.
triads off, not worship tone.
So anyway, that is essentially another triad. That's all triads are.
Okay.
So 1, 3, 5. That is a major triad.
It's just 3 always.
Yep, those 3 and those 3.
Gotcha.
Major triad is
1,
1,
3,
3,
and
5
5.
in that order.
Always.
Always.
Anywhere on the neck.
Right.
So you can find those notes initially and then just find those elsewhere.
Right. Exactly.
And it's still the same.
Right. And really, there's only so many shapes of it.
Okay.
Right. So for us, we showed a bunch of different versions.
Yeah.
But typically, when
We
I
probably
think about
confuse
it,
people more.
typically I think about it this one,
Okay.
or I think about it in the.
Gotcha.
That's triads. That's major triads.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have kind of 2 major things. 2 major things. 2 big things in the way that we play chords. And so, in a sense, going from we have major chords and minor chords are the most common, right?
Yeah.
Only thing that happens there, same concept. We just flat or drop a half step or drop a fret, the second note in that.
So dropping a fret is a half step.
Right, exactly. So for example, that's a C major,
C major.
C minor.
So you're dropping the
It's so
3.
sad. Did you get so much sadder?
My dog died this morning. You reminded me.
Feeling so much emotion.
Why would you do this?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, thank goodness he's back.
So much better. Yeah, and that same concept applies anywhere else as well. So,
So you're flatting the 3.
yep, which is the second note in the triad.
So it's 1, 2, 5.
It's one. Okay, so now we're getting weird. It's 1 flat third,
Gotcha.
5.
Okay.
which is also called a minor third.
Oh, okay.
Don't get hung up on that. This is where you start to confuse people, and they're like, "Well, why is it a minor third?" Who cares?
It's all right. Just
Take that note and go like that.
Make it flat. Yeah. All
it
right.
minor.
That makes sense.
Same thing up here.
Just a flat third.
Right.
1 half step down. So a whole step is in between the dots, right?
Yeah, it's just 2 frets.
2 frets
Yeah.
is a whole step. 1 is a half step. Got it.
Yeah. If you want to confuse me in a worship artistry lesson, capo the song on the first fret.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's just
And then have me play up here.
one off.
It's like, just no, all the dots don't make sense
That's
anymore.
so funny. Yeah. Well, that's cool. So you can take the triad anywhere up the neck. So like, what about like, I hear about triads in like D shapes. That's like what we play a lot. Like here's a G or something like.
Right. So what you're talking about there are inversions.
Inversion.
Inversions.
So it's not the same thing, or is it?
So here's the thing.
Okay.
What does it mean to invert something?
Turn it upside down.
Right.
Okay.
It's like spelling race car forward and backwards, right?
Car race.
It's still a race car. When you think about it in a triad, we are actually, it's any arrangement of those three that are not in the root arrangement.
Okay.
So for example, you were talking about D shapes, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we have our C chord. That's our C triad. We're just taking those three notes.
Okay.
And then we're going to start on this one. So in that case for C, it's up here.
Yeah. Huh. But it's the same.
Same three notes.
Same three notes.
But it sounds totally different, right?
Yeah. Sounds different and the same.
Right. They're interchangeable.
Interesting.
So it's like, yeah, I could play, that would be fine. But I can also play,
Yeah.
and then I can keep going and go,
Yeah.
and then I finally finish up at the high one again.
Mm-hmm.
And all that is going, so if you think about it in the numbers, right? This is 1, 3, 5. This is 3, 5, 1. This is 5, 1, 3.
There's only three numbers to choose
5,
from.
1, 3, yes. And then we're back to 1, 3, 5.
No, 1, 3, 5. Yeah.
And so what I find useful is to just memorize those couple shapes
Gotcha. Yeah.
and just not worry about it. So it's helpful to kind of get that sense of where those go. But that's all it is.
Gotcha.
We're just playing inversions. It's not like play the secret notes. It's just all somebody is telling you is, oh, play something different. Like, so for example, Nick, let's say we're playing together.
Okay.
And you're playing some C power chords down here. All right, I'm gonna give myself some cool stuff too. Some sauce. I don't want to do that. My microphone keeps dropping here.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
Yeah. Couldn't because the mic's dropping.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you're playing down here, and if you and I are playing the same thing, if I'm playing this and you're playing power chord, it just gets kind of ugly and
it's
muddy.
not cool. Yeah.
But if I come up here and do the same, you play the power chord. But I actually think it'll sound better if I go higher.
Yeah.
Now that sounds huge.
Right. Yeah. That's nice.
But if I just say down here,
Yeah. Just mud.
yeah.
That doesn't sound nice.
Maybe if we were in stereo.
Maybe. But yeah.
But I think it just sounds better this way.
Yeah. No. Because it has like space.
Right.
You have your spot and I have my spot, and I'm filling that out. And then obviously got to think about keys and bass too at that point.
Right.
But like, yeah, that makes total sense. Because like I do those shapes, but I don't really know what they're called.
Right. You're just like, that sounds
It's like
good.
that sounds better than this. And I remember when I first got started as I guess a worship guitar player, worship musician. I don't know what to call me. Is people would always be like, "Why are you doing those things?" I would play these type of chords instead of because I always noticed the other guitar player would just rock out on like a
Right. So then you're in kind of more like, what chord were you just playing?
B.
Oh, changed up on me.
I like to do that. Yeah. So that's always been fun to me. And people always ask me, why are you doing that? And because that person's doing that. And why would we do the same thing?
Right.
And I remember even playing we'd do acoustic shows and I'd have the other acoustic player capo 4 and play the same chords.
Right.
But just a different sound. It was an inversion.
Right.
But
that's all that is.
Yeah.
And so when you hear these words, when you hear oh, play more triads.
Yeah.
Just play with just 3-note
Three
chords.
notes.
Preferably ones that fit the chord.
1, 3, 5.
Yep. And then you can kind of play around with that.
And if it's
that's where
minor,
you explore.
1 flat third 5.
There you go.
Minor third.
Yeah.
Don't say that, you said.
I mean, either one.
Either or. Okay, I like that. So then with the triad, because I've heard a lot of the triad stuff, but like it's pretty popular to do dyads.
Right.
That's a whole different thing.
That's just 2 notes.
What?
Try.
I did. So now what do you want me to do, coach?
I want you to die.
No, I don't want to do that. My wife says no. Yeah, so it's literally just 2 notes. Gosh, like, why does the internet say, to unlock this, you need this?
Oh, because that's how you sell courses.
Dang it. We're not very good at
Yeah,
this.
we just lost so much money.
We wanted to let you know about the courses we have for sale.
Yeah, we're going to do deep dive into these things.
Totally.
You can't possibly understand what a triad is unless you buy my course.
Because the 4th note.
Right, yeah, that's right. It's gonna. Have you had a quadad?
No, but I'm ready.
Where the quadads sing.
The quadad. What applicable kind of like information or like practice should they do?
Great, that's a great question. So essentially, I would think about it just starting from this shape, then jumping up and finding that next shape, and then finding the next one, and here. So for a C chord, that would be starting with your pointer finger on that 3rd fret. Then you go up to your 8th fret to play that shape where you're barring, and then your middle finger's there. And then you make that D shape up on 12, which if you think about it, if you think about a C chord.
Yeah, it's just
Part of that chord.
Yeah.
Right? And then going up, finally up to here.
Gotcha.
And just starting there. So you start going, and the way that I learned it is I remember there was a song that had an A chord in it. And I learned that, I can naturally just go up to that. So when other people were just going, I'd be like,
yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not like
different.
A magic thing either. You're playing the same chord.
Right, exactly. But it's just like something you can play around with. So one thing you could do
It's got some flair.
is find your different spots.
Okay.
You know, so a lot of times, so say we did it with, let's stick with C.
Okay.
Actually, no, let's jump to A.
I was about to ask you, how would I find those same kind of patterns or shapes in a different key, though?
Sure. So if you think about this as the root position, right? The first C, right? Well, if we scoot that down, that's an A chord.
Makes sense.
Right? It's an A shape.
Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna add an A. That means here I'm at an A sharp. Up here, I'm at a B, C, C sharp, D, etc.
Gotcha.
And so I just think about it either as the top of an A chord, or you can also think about, because power chords or bar chords are essentially moving those shapes up.
Yeah, and just taking away some notes.
So if you go, that's your typical, there's my C. So my D, I would play that, so. And then that gives me a sense of, okay, now where do I slide around and go, okay. So now I'm at a D, which means I'm at a D. It's also helpful if you think about this as the top of a bar chord.
Gotcha, yeah.
All right, so, I'm going to an A chord.
Yeah.
Right, now
Then that's just an inversion.
Yep, exactly. And then same
Makes
thing.
sense. Yeah. Because the way I've always done it is like, let's say we're going from C to D. I know those shapes, but like how I do it is I don't know as much as you. So I literally envision like C to D. So that's one whole step. That's 2 frets. So everything just moves up 2 frets.
Right.
And I just remembered that. And that's how I've always done it.
And here's the thing, like sometimes you get things under your fingers before you really understand them.
Sure.
And what we're trying to do here is I don't think that you need to understand tons of theory to play something.
Yeah.
You know, the reason why we do worship artistry lessons the way we do is because we want to make those accessible. Somebody can sit down and go, I don't really know anything, but you'll teach me what to play.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just learn what to play and then you kind of go backwards and go, why? But I think in this kind of case, because there's so much like noise out there about unlock the secret and do all this, it's like, let's just strip all that away and show you what it is so that when it's referenced somewhere else, you just go, you just mean the 3 notes.
Yeah.
Cool, you made it sound neat. I'll put my fingers there to play my 3 chords. Cool.
Awesome. I know what they did then. Yeah. It's an inversion.
Yeah, it's not scary anymore.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Like I said, you can keep going in the world You can learn, go deeper and deeper and deeper, but this is the root of it. And you can literally stay here for like 10 years.
Right, yeah.
It's not like, oh, I just don't know enough.
Well, hey, everybody, we thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us on this wonderful day. But I hate to break it to you, you need to leave now. We're ending this video.
Go try some triads.
Go try the triads, but before you do that, subscribe. Ring the bell to be notified about triads.
Because we're gonna do other stuff. Tell us other things you want demystified that you're just like, whatever, like, what is that?
It's not a mystery. But that's the question I always get. What is a triad? I told you it's 3 notes, but what is it?
What does it mean?
We just told you. Watch it again.
Yeah.
It's actually a very easy concept once you unlock it. But what else do you want to know? I want to cover some dyads because I really like the 2-note things, and I'm not good at it at all. I can play 2 notes.
Sure.
They're always wrong.
I want to learn some of the runs that you do because I have my go-to runs that it's just like, all right, this is what I want to show off.
Well, that's next week then.
There you go. So you show me some cool stuff.
And you show me some. Yeah. All right. You taught me something today. I'll teach you something next week.
Let's do it.